So what happens when the engine fails, or we have a similar problem that causes us to make a forced landing? Well, the first thing we must do is establish the aircraft in the correct gliding attitude, at the correct gliding speed. Look then for a field, suitable size, sensible shape, good surroundings, and a good surface, and most importantly, into wind. Now, assuming the field meets those requirements, and it won't always, it's then time to plan the circuit around the field, plan the approach. On the downwind leg of the field, probably starting at around about 2,000 feet, go through the restart checks, see if you can find the cause of failure, and restart the engine. Make the mayday call, clearly, sensibly, so that air traffic control can get the facilities to you in time. As you reach about this point, approximately 1,000 feet above ground level, you'll be just approaching the beginning of the base leg. Then it's time to do the shutdown checks, make the aircraft safe and secure for the eventual touchdown. Now is also the time to decide whether you're too high and need to do some S-turns or steer away from the field, or even use some flap. Or, if you're too low, to steer into the field and delay any use of flap. Once established on final approach, again, make the decision. Are you too high or are you too low for the approach? Should you use flap? Should you make more S-turns? The aim being, of course, to land to 1/3 to a halfway into the field, but bringing that landing position closer to you with the use of flap. Very, very important, a safe and accurate control of the correct approach speed on final approach, remembering to ensure a safe main wheel landing onto a surface that you may not be familiar with.
And now the forced landing without power. Our aim here is to learn to land the aircraft safely in the event of a total loss of power. So, without more ado, let's simulate this. Carburetor heat hot, throttle completely closed. Practice, practice, we have an engine failure simulated. Maintaining the level flight attitude, airspeed at 80, our glide descent, speed, and reselecting the known descent attitude. Looking for a field? Well, 5 S's: size, surface, slope, shape, and surroundings. And there we have it to our left, a perfect field. Turning left now onto a crosswind, we need to be at least 2,000 feet by the time we start our downwind leg. How's it looking? Oh, not too bad. So, checks, cause of failure. The fuel is on, the mixture is rich, the magnetos are on, the carburetor heat is hot, the fuel pump is on. Cause of failure cannot be determined. So, mayday call, mayday, mayday, mayday. Luton approach, this is Golf, November, Oscar Delta Yankee. Total engine failure, intention forced landing, position over Cheddington, level passing 1,900 feet, heading 290 degrees. Private pilot's license, 1 POB. So good look around all the time, maintaining the orientation, maintaining the lookout as we turn onto our downwind heading, downwind of the field that we've chosen. The field is into wind, it's a good shape, it's a good length. All the time being very careful to maintain that airspeed. Now because this is a practice, I'm just going to warm the engine and throttle slowly closed. Alright, we've done the cause of failure checks, we've done the mayday call. The final checks to go are the shutdown checks. So, simulated only, throttle closed, mixture idle cutoff, fuel off, fuel pump off, magnetos off, canopy crack open. Looking at the field all the time, keep the field in sight, never lose sight of the field, as we now turn on to our base leg for the field. Trying to make this as close as possible to a normal glide approach that we would do back at our departure aerodrome. Here we are then, on a left base, shortly turning towards final approach. Are we too high? Yes, we are. So we're going to select some flap at this stage. Flap, as you know, will increase the rate of descent. Still maintaining the speed very carefully at the right speed, looking towards the field now. 80 knots. Looking good. Looking good. Just beginning to note the effects of the wind a little bit better now. As we come down towards base leg, everything's looking good, checking towards final approach, remembering this is a practice, so we will not be overshooting below 500 feet above ground level. As we turn on to final approach now, a little bit of turbulence. Around about 700 to 800 feet above ground level at this moment, looking good. Yes, we're definitely going to get in there, so advise the passengers, simulated, brace yourselves, seat as far back as possible and harness as tight and as secure as possible. definitely into the field? No problem at all. There we are, 500 feet above ground level and going around. The PPL is not only about practicing various maneuvers with an instructor, it's also about consolidating all those exercises that you do with him on your own. This builds confidence and expertise. Your hours will be built up in practicing general handling and emergencies, circuit work, dual and solo cross countries, and dual instrument flying.